Hello everyone, welcome back to the Boatyard. We are going to be in the Boatyard just briefly this time around. If you've been a follower for a long time, then you know, but if you don't, we have basically rebuilt this boat. Now it has a fiberglass hull, but everything else is built like a wooden boat. It has wooden decks, wooden cabin side. A lot of that had rotted away, so we did a pretty comprehensive structural rebuild. And while we were at it, we rebuilt the interior too. It has all brand new systems. We customized the cockpit, changed that out. So yeah, if you are curious about that phase, then just browse back in the history and you'll see all about it. But now we're just on a few final touches, like one always has on boats. There's always little upgrades here and there. Primarily, I have added engine room ventilation to expel some of the hot air in there. We have installed secondary winches. We have calibrated the diesel tank gauge, so finally in the future we can guesstimate our consumption a little better. That's pretty important. And lots of other little maintenance jobs. Plus, we'll get a special visitor at the end.
Joel, where did you...
So where you going?
It's a beautiful sunny day in the Boatyard, and I'm starting on a mission that I actually intended to do in the winter, but we're getting to it now. And that is calibrating my diesel gauge. So I do have the Victron Servo, which is paired to the display, and that has been really handy. I love having everything in one place, so I can get the readout from the batteries. We can see the draw on our whole system, the MPPT controllers, which are from Victron, so that we can see how many watts are coming into our solar panels. And another feature is that we can also connect gauges to it for tanks. But there is one little caveat, and that is that I have not calibrated the gauges. So right now the mission is get the tanks empty first. So Brian is actually inside monitoring.
So when Aladino installed the fuel system, he put in a little manifold on the pump discharge. So the pump sucks up from the filters and pumps it to the manifold, and that's where you can valve it to either the engine, which is the more normal thing, or you can, when the engine's off, you can use the fuel pump to do a polishing circuit so that the other valve returns back to the tank. So what we're doing right now is we've taken the outlet hose from that second valve. We're just putting it straight into the jerry can.
And then when the tank is empty, then we fill in, and then basically I have to record and look at the gauge, look at, is it frequency? Am I talking right? What is the thing, how gauges work? Electromagnetic, hydrosonic?
It would probably be a little voltage. I've made a few marks on the side here. Now I've got a light on the top so I can see the level quite accurately from where I'm sitting. And I'm just watching the fuel go in, not quite yet.
Wow, you are really smart.
So now it's starting to go down. I can see the level. It's going quite quickly.
Oh, pinch it.
Yeah.
Okay, now it jumped to 218 ohms.
Okay, so that's 32 liters.
Okay, wait, let me write that down. Whew, here we are, 6:30 p.m. This morning when we decided to tackle this task. We were quite motivated and we were like, oh yeah, let's get it started. Maybe we're done by lunchtime. It's one of those. So it took all day, but we are calibrated and we have accurate readings. So very happy about that. It was just a little complicated on how the software requires us to calculate what the inputs actually are. Well, our sensor gives us values depending on where it's floating, and it gives those values in resistance. So we pretty much knew when is our 0 point, and then we took a reading of what is the sender telling us now, and every 20 liters we wrote down that resistance, which is always a different value, of course. And then though, how you come to the calculation is that resistance value
is a percentage of the full range.
Is a percentage of the full range. So we know where was bottom and where was top. In our case, bottom is 220, top is 45. I know it's counterintuitive because it's reversed there. 220 minus 45 ends up being 175. And so every single value, every step you get of those 20 liter increments, then you divide by 175 and times 100 to get the percentage. So now we have this list with all the values, and we had to punch those into the display, and now it is showing 192 liters are in the tank. And the tank capacity is actually 200, and it is accurate because 8 liters went into the diesel day tank for the heater. But it was sure a long day with a couple of drives to the gas station to fill up the Jerry's. But yeah, thanks for your help.
Oh, it was good. Yeah. And we got lots of extra jerry cans from the neighbors, which
Yeah.
was really nice.
Yeah, thanks Chad and Shelby. Thanks Chris for the Jerry's. So yeah, also happy though, one day, one mission. So see what I get up to tomorrow. Another big change are these two holes here. An engine room should have air intake, and it should have a way to get rid of the air in the engine room. Everything heats up in there. And so the easy way, of course, is to just like add a ventilator, a mushroom, a cowl vent, a Gerard box. But they are quite protrusive. I like my flush cockpit here with not too many toe stubbers. So I thought, why don't I put the Gerard box on the inside? Because the Gerard box is the component that helps you keep water out, right? And I am aware that you can swamp a cockpit with a large breaking wave. So you also don't want to just have holes with a little mosquito net, because then you could get a good gulp of salt water down in the engine room. So Brian came over. We had a fun weekend building this here, and yeah, this is what we call a baffle box, which is, well, part baffle box, part Gerard. And the way that this goes is in here. So picture this roundabout here, but at this level. And so these two holes are air, well, exhausts more than intakes. There will be one on either side here. And so picture that our engine room goes all the way to up here, because this is kind of a systems channel that I have where all the hoses run to the transom. So here we have two holes, and here's a baffle, and they're angled. And this is to hopefully break noise. An engine room is noisy, so if we have a straight connection, that noise would just transfer to out here. But the more dividers you have in place, the more the noise has to travel, and hopefully it gets less. So I really hope that will do the trick. And then also, if we were to get a good splash of water in the cockpit, it has to rise to about this level before anything would spill over and get access to that room down below. So that's the Gerard box part of it. So yeah, picture this here. Warm air rises, so from the engine it goes back to this aft compartment, which is the highest part of the engine room. And then we have an electric blower, a fan that is connected into these fittings, which are 3-inch PVC. So we'll have a PVC elbow, the fan, and we'll probably wire it up to the engine. Every time the engine runs, this is on, and it spits out warm air through here. So yeah, these two here, there are cockpit drains, and these are in the way of me accessing this aft compartment. Here we go, so much room in here now. Just big enough. So we've built a little ledge that we screwed in, so now it's being held by that one. And then we're putting in 2 screws from the either cockpit locker. So while I hold the baffle box in place, Brian's gonna be putting in those 2 screws. And then it's in. All right, next step, baffle box is in place that accepts 2 elbows. And one of them is going to get a blower, or this fan here, installed right kind of into it. So it sucks whatever air rises. And this one instead, I want to have on the left side, on the port side, and I will put in a duct and have it routed to the front to the alternator. So we're also extracting heat right from the alternator. Now, as happy as I am that I can crawl into the engine room, it's very difficult to do so. So yeah, it was even harder to also document it and bring a camera in there. It's often one-handed operations where I can like use one arm to do certain things in the very back. So we were able to get the baffle box in. It was quite difficult though, and apologies for not having documented it. But I'm sure Let's Imagination fill in that part. Overall, it's in, and I'm very happy with it, and hopefully this will keep our engine room cooler now and draw away hot air from the alternators too. Beautiful weather out here, and time for an update. We have secondary winches now. Huge thanks to Eric for sending these winches out. As you know, I'm not big on metal fabrication, but I did want to recreate how this one is installed. It is on this 1/4 inch piece of metal, which is attached to the coaming and attached to the bulwarks, but there's no bolts going through deck, and I love that. And also thanks to Chris for welding these brackets for me. He's a friend in the yard, and he knows how to weld, so he gave me a hand here because I didn't want to have visible bolt heads here. So instead I've made up these plates, and there's 2 bolts welded onto them, so this gives a really big surface around the bolt hole for having more success in sealing things. Back to the bracket, I made them in fiberglass because that's my medium. It's funny, I should have put in more effort into the mold that I made. I made a really rickety cardboard mold just because I was kind of dry fitting things and seeing how this could come about, but then I've used it to actually make the brackets, and here they are. It worked out. Not my proudest work, but yeah, for a rather quick mission, I'm pretty pleased. And the loads on these won't be huge. They're for several missions. On starboard, it's for our furler line. Sometimes that does get hard to pull, and I know you should also just ease out the sheets to be able to furl the sail, but a little bit of a help with the winches, that is good to have. I think this afternoon I will move on to something else, and that is a potential future washdown pump. Because we now have a water maker, that was the perfect opportunity to install a deck wash pump. So I picked out the hardware, which is like a push to connect fitting. I generally don't like drilling holes in the deck, as you know, so I was looking for other options, and so I've determined to use the cabin sides instead. And the big reason for that is not only not to drill a hole in the deck, but also the hardware is a tube that if it's placed in the deck, it can catch a lot of debris, and you want that portion though to always stay clean because you connect the other end of the nozzle into that piece of hardware. So I didn't want to have debris in there that then is very hard to get out. And so I've decided installing that piece of hardware on the side instead will prevent debris from getting in the first place. It was a pretty simple project. I am using the feed pumps of the water maker to give pressure to this deck wash pump. So it is salt water, but yeah, that's the intention. This will be a nice quality of life upgrade.
We actually have a special guest coming into the yard today. My brother is coming to visit.
It's really bright. Cut.
Hi, Dylan.
Hello. I'm back.
Welcome to the Boatyard.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here. Great to be back on the boat.
Wow, that was such a on-camera voice.
Well, I don't know what to do.
Come on up. Bring that lovely pink suitcase with you.
Isn't it cute? I think it's fantastic.
Nice to see you, Dill. So, Dill, where did you...
Let me do my hair. Sorry, going. Hair and makeup, folks.
Where did you just come from with that pink suitcase?
No, you're supposed to say action.
Okay, action. Where did you just come from with that pink suitcase?
I just came from Toronto. I just got off the plane, and I was at Canada's largest knife show. And for those who don't know, I am a knife maker. That's what I spend a lot of my free time doing. I'm back home from work, and got some knives in my suitcase.
You've got your girlfriend's pink suitcase filled with knives, which I love. There's some really beautiful irony in that.
I think that's pretty fitting for a pink suitcase full of very sharp objects.
Hey, nice book you got there.
Thank you. It's written by somebody I know. It's pretty cool. I like it.
So being this incredibly skilled knife maker that he is, he made us a custom one, and he knows that I'm all about trying to catch fish when I can when we're out here. So he made us a custom filleting knife.
Our new fillet knife, is that not a work of art or what?
Yeah, I'm afraid to use it, not only because it's insanely sharp, but also because it is just a work of art. It's so beautiful.
He put our logo on it.
And also, it's not just a filleting knife. Like, I feel like I'm a knight with this one. It feels like a sword.
Yeah, so that was a fun project.
Wow, what you want to tell us?
Sure.
Technicalities?
So it's really thin. It's scary sharp. I have cut myself a few times, but it's got some bend to it because you want a little bit of flex to your fillet knife. But the handle is kind of fun. So this handle is a product called Grip X by Grip Tech Composites, and what it is, it's epoxy resin that is infused with a whole bunch of tiny little rubber pellets. So if you zoom in on the shine, all those tiny little speckles that you can see, that's each one of those is a little individual rubber pellet. And so it might be shiny, it might be polished, but it's quite grippy. And the best thing about this is that the rubber swells slightly when it gets wet. Mm-hmm. And so when it's wet, when you're filleting a fish, when you're covered in salt water and fish juice,
yeah, the grip gets even better.
It gets even grippier.
Yeah.
For the knife nerds out there, this is a CPM Magnum Cut, heat treated to 64 HRC. I polish the spine and tang on all my knives, but hand sanding Magnum Cut or high hardness 3V to a mirror shine, it's equivalent to sanding gloss with a regular printer paper.
Whoa.
It's really, really hard.
But it's used for a specific purpose, so thanks for going through the effort.
Yeah.
For making us a long-lasting rust-free knife.
Yeah, so the pros to Magnum Cut, it's a really hyped up steel.
Mm-hmm.
In the knife community, that's a thing. Magnum Cut is a great steel because it's not only really tough, has a good edge retention, but it's also really corrosion resistant. Mm-hmm. It's very stainless. Now, for your regular pocket knife, you might not need magnet cut. It might not be necessary to have that much corrosion resistance.
Yeah.
But when you're on a boat on salt water, you don't get much more salty than that.
Yeah, for real. Thank you.
Truly incredible.
Laser engraved logo. It doesn't stop.
We're pretty
Yeah.
lucky, Jill, and I'm incredibly
Yeah.
proud of you. Like, so
Thank you.
truly incredibly proud of you.
Okay, first of all, I should say I'm suffering from some really crazy spring allergies right now, so I'm not just welling up in pride over my little brother's accomplishments, although I am very proud of you, Dylan. I want to give a little context because, like, the craftsmanship here is obviously incredible, and I'm stoked for you to describe a little bit about that because I think that's what people are interested in here. But what I'm really proud of is just the direction and the vision that you've gone. To give a bit of context that I know Dylan wouldn't give himself, when he was a teenager, he was really into mountain biking, and he was an absolutely incredible mountain biker, on track to go into it professionally. And you were competing in, like,
Races and freestyle.
totally. And then at age 14, he had an absolutely massive accident, and he ended up being in a coma for a month. And that was the most terrifying time because for a very long time we didn't know if we would ever be able to speak to Dylan again. We had no idea. Like, what I realized going through that process is when you're dealing with a brain injury, it can be really unclear how it's going to heal and to what extent it's going to heal. And you came back the exact same person that you were.
For better or for worse.
Which is really incredible and very unusual. And I think, you know, probably the time of life, you were 14, you were just growing, like every cell in your body was regenerating anyway.
My brain could regrow around the dead area.
Yeah. But the really scary part after that was mountain biking was your whole identity.
To sum it up.
And as a family, we were really unsure, like, how that would affect you mentally once you had your sort of capacity back. How were you going to find yourself and reinvent yourself? And it didn't take too long for you to start making.
Yeah, well, I mean, I always loved building bike trails out in the bush. I've always loved making things with my hands, and so since I could no longer be ripping the gnar and shredding down the trails, I spent a lot of time. I was really lucky that our high school that we went to had a really good wood shop. And so I started spending a lot of time in the wood shop, tinkering with different things, making all sorts of things from boxes to pens on the lathe.
Now you've really focused in on knives, and this is what you do, and just like the quality of craftsmanship that you've achieved is remarkable.
I'm always so blown away at how he keeps getting better at this craft. He's an incredible craftsman, and he is continuously honing those skills. Every year I think he's reached the pinnacle of knife making, and year after year he beats himself, coming up with something even better, even more down to the finest detail. So it's really quite incredible to see that progression, and we're incredibly lucky to have a few of his knives in our collection. Well, tell us where people can find you.
Trails Edge Knives on Instagram is my main platform. I also have a website, trailsedgeknives.com, and so far that's pretty much it. It's just Instagram and my website. That's my main platform.
Well, because mostly what you do is custom, right? So
Yeah.
people reach out, email you their ideas, and then you make it for them.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah, of course, I brought a bunch of knives I just made for the show, but primarily, my primary work of what I do is custom commissions, where I'm working with a customer back and forth. Actually, just recently, maybe we can flash some pictures on screen. Here. I don't know. Editor Maya could help with this.
Yeah.
But I made the customer was requesting a deep sea or rough ocean theme to a knife. And then he just gave me that theme. He gave me the blade shape and size he was looking for. Said go. And so that was so much fun to really design and have the customization and freedom to have some fun.
Cool.
Worked out really well.
Nice.
It was S90V steel, 64 HRC. some technical terms,
Nice.
but
All right.
I'll put links to everything in the description.
wicked.
Cool.
So glad you stopped by, Dylan. It's always
That's that way.
Yes. It's always so nice to see you, and again, I'm just incredibly proud of you.
Thank you.
In the next episode, we're going to give you a full tour of all the little projects that I've tackled this winter. Since I may have forgotten one or two here and there, we'll do a thorough walkthrough trying to remember all of them. Thank you all for being here. Thanks for watching, liking, commenting. We enjoy reading all of your comments. Huge thanks to the names now appearing on the screen. These are the folks that especially enable us to continue being out here doing what we do, and we couldn't be more grateful, so thank you very much for that. As you may know by now, our last cruising season exploring Canada's west coast has been turned into a book by Maya, so there's links in the description for that too. We're on the second print run, which is doing pretty well. So yeah, if you want to make sure you get your hands on a copy if you haven't yet, now is the time. So yeah, make sure to check that out as well. Thank you all, and we'll see you next Friday.